That's it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Sure. Hands off. All right. Okay. That's perfect. You made that? Oh, you made it. Nice. Nice.
We've been out in the rain and everything.
Yeah. And then the pantry, because I talked about the pantry in my yeah.
I said, good morning. My name is Shaie. I'm a summer.
Your apartment's doing that. Is this your first time since the last time you were back?
Yeah. Does it feel normal?
Does it feel normal?
Does it feel like it hasn't been a year? What is that? It's fabulous. I should go to order of service or I might get lost.
Okay.
And don't forget you're introducing me.
Yeah. Good morning and welcome to UU Mount Airy. My name is Tim Steyer and I use he, him pronouns. And it is my honor to be co-leading our service today together with Shaie Dively. I want us to take a moment. There we go. I just asked Shaie a little while ago, does it feel familiar? And she reminded me it's been a year since she's been up here, and she was our intern minister for 2 years, right? And since then, she's made a lot of progress, but we're happy, and I'm very honored to be co-leading this service, and we're happy to have her back with us while Reverend McKinley Sims is on vacation, so we'll see a lot of Shaie. Shaie will be leading worship services. Big thank you to Len Reiser for providing music and to Mike Foy for running our AV tech today. A few small announcements before we begin. Please silence any cell phones, I already did mine, so that we may all be as present as possible in this space. Restrooms are located in the rear of the sanctuary through the doors, and stairs to the right, or the mechanical lift to the left, and usher can help you navigate either option. We are streaming live, and if you're joining us online, you can choose to toggle on the closed captions by clicking the CC button at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Our worship service today is titled On the Other Side of Independence Day. And Shaie and I worked real closely. We actually had our first meeting about this worship service last week, or the week before actually now, in GA, which was in General Assembly down in Baltimore. And we wanted to frame this, our reflections in this service, to reflect what's our response to what's going on. So Shaie's going to do her reflection based on how she sees things, and I'm going to bring it a little bit more closer to home and talk about the democratic process as Unitarian Universalists. So it should be fun. This is a UU congregation, which means we are people of many differences, different faith traditions, different racial identities, different gender expressions, and of all different ways of moving in and showing up in the world. And we are the people of togetherness, who make covenant promises to be together and to act with love for transformation, liberation, and healing. I think today's service is going to speak to all those elements. May our gratitude for this time together and our intentions to build beloved community help us to embrace one another and nurture wholeness in ourselves and in our world this morning. Come, let us worship together. First time I used that one. In UU congregations, we light a chalice to celebrate our coming together in love to mark the sacred space and time of our community and invite the Spirit into our lives. We invite you to light a candle wherever you are today and read along with us here in the sanctuary. I'm going to read words from Reverend Dr. Nicole's sermon, Revolution Begins with a Dream, which she shared during the 2025 UUA General Assembly Sunday service just last Sunday while Shaie lights the chalice. Let us light this chalice as a beacon of our shared aspirations, our commitment to justice, and the transformative power of our collective imagination. Our opening hymn is number 287, Faith for the Larger Liberty, Please rise in body or in spirit and find the lyrics in the gray hymnal or on the screen behind me. Mommy! Hey. Welcome. How y'all doing? So let me just say about this hymn, it's been around for a while, but it's the first time I ever heard it. So, okay.
Part of being a community is learning to share the authentic and vulnerable parts of ourselves with others, to see and be seen, to know and be known. We make space today for that sharing, all of which helps us to build this congregation into beloved community. We invite you to share what's going on in your life, to name your feelings and the people on your heart in need of prayer, good energy, best wishes, and other help. We invite you to get into your body and investigate what emotions you're experiencing, to share them as you feel called so that we can help one another hold our joys, our grief, our in-between feelings. We build community by celebrating our good things, mourning our troubles, taking risks, and listening deeply. For our online sharing, we invite you who are on Zoom to share what you're feeling this week and to lift up the names of those about whom you are thinking in the chat. If you would like us to share your joy or sorrow later on, please include the word share in your message. For those watching us on live stream on or after Sunday morning, you can reach me via email, which is sum_mind@uumountairy.org. For those in our sanctuary, we ask that you come up one at a time by the side aisle to pick up a stone or stones from the basket Infuse or charge it with your joy or sorrow and place it in the bowl of water where its energy will ripple out to be held by all of us. This morning, we invite you to take a moment to witness how your stone nestles next to the stones of others, and how we are all surrounded by the water that symbolizes our community's shared grief and joy. If you'd like to share something important on your heart, please speak directly into that microphone right there, and be mindful that we are broadcasting to the internet. All are welcome to participate in any of these ways, and for those who have gathered virtually, Tim will add stones on your behalf. Come, come, whoever you are, the sacred space of deep sharing is open.
Good morning, my name is Linda. I have such a mixture of emotions today. I've been literally feeling sick to my stomach since the budget bill passed, and it's hard for me to get past that. However, fortunately, I had a wonderful weekend. Was it Saturday? Friday, we had this wonderful reading of the Declaration of Independence. A number of us were here, a number of us were singing, and there were 200 people that came out. And it was just a really wonderful event, very uplifting. And then yesterday I went to a wonderful outdoor music festival, and I got to hear the Indigo Girls and the Milk Carton Kids and Dar Williams, and that really lifted my spirits also.
I want to thank the people that sent me cards and gave me cards. I'm going to Florida tomorrow for my brother's funeral, and thank you.
Good morning, I'm Barbara. Excuse me. Is this day one or one day?
Bernadette, as Gary goes into his 11th month of chemo, he is taking up a new activity, which is baking sourdough bread. So at some point, he's only made 2 loaves, and of course it has to be a little bit better than what showed up, and then I'll bring some to Sunday.
Hi, I'm McKinley. I work here, usually. If you're not familiar with Central Texas, the Hill Country is where lots of kids from Texas go to summer camp. It's where I went to summer camp. It's where Camp Mystic, that you might have heard about in the news, is where lots of my friends went to summer camp. And I've been that way. I've driven on those roads. I have been there in the summer, been there in the rain. And having 2 little ones feels a lot different this time. So I put a stone in for each of the little girls who was missing from Camp Mystic, and then one more for all those that we don't yet know about. Thank you.
My name is Bruce. I put a stone in for the emotion of pride that I'm feeling. Our son Jamie has made 5 albums, but they're all only in cyberspace, YouTube, and other places. And I convinced him to make physical CDs for those few of us who still have CD players. And it's my favorite. It's the only recorded music I actually listen to, even though I love music. But so if anyone is interested in getting one of his CDs, let me know.
Hello, my name is Rita. I have 2 joys. First one, of course, is having Shaie back, at least temporarily for the summer. Great to see you. And, you know, what McKinley just said about Camp Mystic, I almost, when you hear things like that, you almost feel guilty having joy. I mean, that was visited upon someone else, some families, you know. So we just have to keep them in our hearts. I have a personal joy, very personal. I haven't, I was on bad terms with my son for a pretty long time. It's like a year. And we weren't talking. And I think probably the main problem was that he's just too damn much like me. The communication issue, you know? So anyway, it bothered me. It weighs heavy on me. He made a couple overtures, like he called me on Mother's Day to wish happy Mother's Day. So anyway, just a couple days ago, when I was up in the mountains with Beth, I said I'm going to call my son because it's going on too long. So I called him, and he answered, and we had the nicest conversation, and my heart, I literally felt like this weight being lifted off my shoulders. I felt joyous, you know. So I even hugged Beth, for saying, go call your son like you said you were. Anyway, I just wanted to say that I feel such gratitude that the blessing came down from the sky, and I called him, and that's it, because life is not a dress rehearsal. So, thank you.
I just put a stone in for our own Karen Smith. Is Karen here today? No. So Karen Smith is a member, and she's a drummer, and she's a drummer extraordinaire, and she had a birthday last week. I think she celebrated her birthday for a whole week. So I just wanted to say happy birthday to Karen wherever she is.
I'm going to ask Tim to add some stones for the folks who are online who shared through Zoom. And Tim, could you add a final stone for all those joys and sorrows, not shared out loud, but held in the deep quiet of our hearts? Thank you. I'd like it to take a moment to enter into the spirit of prayer. I'm going to do it with words that I used when I was a chaplain at a children's hospital. These were the opening words I always used. O eternal and gracious one, Spirit of life, God known by many names and no name. Today we lift up to you our joys and our sorrows. We ask that you surround them with grace, and that with every breath that we take, we know that when we exhale, we are sending love out to our beloveds who are in this space. And every time we inhale, we are taking in that love from a beloved. The support that we have in this space, in this community, is with us day and night, rain and shine. May we lean into each other when we need to. May we help each other carry our burdens. May we celebrate each other's joys. Blessed be, and amen. So because it's been a while, and I've forgotten the structure of the pulpit script, I saw that we have some kiddos in here today. And I wanted to let you know that Miss Jill, I believe, is downstairs if you would like to go down to color and explore. Or if you prefer to stay here with us, you are more than welcome to do so. We are so happy that all of you are here. So you get to decide. It's up to you.
We're going downstairs.
Okay. We'll see you afterwards. So, at roughly 9:45 this past Friday night, I found myself standing on the stoop of my apartment building. I had been drawn there by the sound of fireworks being launched into the air, exploding, and then star charges raining their patterns and colors in the night sky. I stood there on the stoop, leaning against the cast iron handrail, filled with mixed emotions. I had sort of made a promise earlier in the day that I wouldn't watch any of the day's festivities, in person or on television, because, well, the times don't feel very celebratory. But something called to me, and so I looked up into the darkness and watched for fireworks becoming visible over the rooftop and steeple of the church that's nestled on my street corner. A church that was built and has been worshiped in since 1796. The original church, the first church, opened in the mid-1700s. So some fireworks flew high in the sky, bursting into bold colors of red and blue, then releasing smaller starbursts of white. Others barely made it above the rooftop. I couldn't have been standing there for more than 10 minutes before the final crescendo began, that spectacular sound and color that just goes on and on and on for 2 minutes. And then it's over. And I heard very little cheering, so it seemed as though my mood was being reflected by the number of participants that had shown up to watch them. Little me would have been gleeful and giddy with the celebratory entertainment and show. Young adult through middle-aged me can watch the fireworks and sit in the contradiction and the muck of history and its undeniable ripple and crash into our present. The grown me can sit with the facts illuminated by historians and activists in both measured and passion-filled tones. It enables me to honor professor and historian Heather Cox Richardson's calming and inspiring effect as she navigates the facts of time, creating a foundation to examine today's events. Indeed, Richardson's Letters from an American for July 3rd points out both the horrible shortcomings of the Declaration of Independence and its radical ideas. Writing, for all the fact that the congressman got around the sticky little problem of Black and indigenous enslavement by defining men as white men, and for all that it never crossed their minds that women might also have rights, the Declaration of Independence was an astonishingly radical document. In a world that had been dominated by a small class of rich men for so long that most people simply accepted that they should be forever tied to their status at birth, a group of upstart legislators on the edges of the continent declared that no man was born better than any other. America was founded on the radical idea that all men are created equal. And it, the grown me, also enables me to breathe into professor and resistance historian Tad Stowermer's passionate and poignant observation posted on Instagram on July 4th. That James Madison's note to Thomas Jefferson regarding enslavement in 1787, great as the evil is, he wrote, a dismemberment of the Union would be worse. This reveals, he states, the founding topic of American state. Oppression is acceptable, even necessary, so long as it serves the white republic. Stowermer also writes that same day, that line wasn't an exception. It was a blueprint. Human suffering could be tolerated, codified even, so long as the republic held together. Slavery wasn't outside the system, it was the system. What mattered most, he says, is to preserve a racial order and its white identity unchallenged for the personal benefit of those who had created it, and that logic didn't die with them. It didn't die with the founders. It was passed on. And this week, he writes, it was reaffirmed in full view when Congress handed billions of dollars to ICE. These observations, as well as images of Frederick Douglass's descendants, his great-great-great-great-grandchildren, reading portions of his powerful speech, "What to the slave is the 4th of July," were rolling in my soul and resting upon my heart as I watched those burning colors stream and float through the air. And two phrases from the NPR short film on Douglass called to me and nestled themselves into my heart. One, on the experience of seeing others celebrating independence and freedom. He wrote, "Your sounds of rejoicing are empty and heartless." And somehow that seems to fit with today. And the other about what some of the nation's needs are, such as the conscience of the nation must be roused. And that seems to be true at this time. All of this filled my soul as I rose yesterday morning and bolstered myself up to make it to that day's rally. There's a woman in my small little Pottstown who faithfully holds a rally every Saturday, and then also links rallies to the larger nationwide rallies that are happening. We started with like 200 people. We're pushing up to like 300, and over 2,000 came for No Kings. Inevitably, any lack of energy or introversion began to fade as I engaged in my spiritual practice of placing love at the center and breathing into the values that our tradition, Unitarian Universalism, holds dear. This enables me to participate in meaningful conversations with those who surround me, both familiar and strangers. We share the messages on our signs with each other. We talk about the concerns we have about our democracy and the fate of our democratic republic. We talk about dismantling oppressions and caring for the marginalized. We share how gathering together is therapeutic and gives us meaning. And we talk about not engaging with the anger that is sometimes thrown at us as people drive by. How we must not diminish nor relinquish our hope and our joy. And it's by being in community that we can foster this with one another, a community that's ever changing by who arrives and who departs and who arrives again. And then we chant. So shall we do one of those together? I think so. Okay. And I think you're all going to know this. I'm going to step back because I can be loud. And I think you know the answer to this one. Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks
One more time. Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks
That's right. That's right. And I would add, we the people shall not rest. Blessed be and amen.
You can be amazing, you can turn a phrase into a weapon or a drug. You can be the outcast, to be the backlash of somebody's lack of love. Or you can start speaking up. Nothing's gonna hurt you the way the words do when they settle near your skin. Kept on the inside and no sunlight, sometimes a shadow wins. But I wonder what would happen if you say
See why I'm so happy to do this service with Shaie? You're talking about energy. She brings it. Good morning again, beloved. Like most UUs, I am a convert from another religion. I was raised Catholic with 16 years of Catholic education and was married in a Catholic church. I was indoctrinated from first grade with the Baltimore Catechism, which stressed the church's hierarchical and divinely originated authority. This meant everything we did required approval from God through bishops and especially the Pope. If we wanted to use a different type of notebook or something, it had to be ordained from the Pope, everything. As a young man, I strongly questioned the structure, comparing it to our country's democratic structure and principles. As you can imagine, finding Unitarian Universalism was incredibly liberating, transitioning from a hierarchical religion upbringing to one based on democratic ideals. Over time, as a UU, I found that the democratic process was deeply ingrained in the history and practice of Unitarian Universalism, stemming from its foundational principles and its congregational roots. Here's a breakdown of its history and how it's practiced. Historical roots. Unitarian Universalism's congregational polity rooted in the 1648 Cambridge Platform adopted by the Massachusetts Pilgrims and Puritans grants authority to autonomous local congregations, not a hierarchy. Decisions are member-driven, a democratic approach still practiced today. Next, right of conscience. A core tenet of Unitarian Universalism is the right of conscience, which emphasizes the intrinsic value of our members. The democratic process is seen as a method of governance that allows all voices to be heard and protects this right of conscience. Next, influence of founding fathers. It is no coincidence that many of the signers of the Declaration of Independence, including Jefferson, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, and Benjamin Rush, were either Unitarians or Universalists. They carried these democratic and individualistic principles into the formation of the American Republic. Congregational authority. Each Unitarian Universalist congregation is self-governing. Members make ultimate decisions regarding adoption of church bylaws, election of the Board of Trustees, adoption of the church budget, and calling a minister. And shared ministry. The governance system emphasizes shared ministry where all members participate in the church's work. Leadership is often shared between the Board of Trustees, the minister, and various committee chairs. Annual congregational meetings. These meetings are a key aspect of democratic practice in Unitarian Universalism. Members gather to hear reports from leaderships, either a president or, in our case, a moderator, from the minister and from the staff. Review financial reports, elect new board members, adopt the budget for the coming fiscal year, and conduct other church business. General Assembly, which we just had the week before last. At a denominational level, ministerial and lay delegates from local congregations gather annually at the General Assembly. This body serves as a legislative body for the Unitarian Universalist Association, making decisions that affect the larger denomination. Policy governance. Many Unitarian Universalist churches and the UUA itself utilize a policy governance model. This model clarifies the role of the board, which is responsible for policy making and resource providing, and a minister, who is the chief of staff, supervising day-to-day operations and leading our ministerial aspects. The board sets end policies, long-term goals and visions, and executive limitations, boundaries for operations, allowing the minister freedom within those boundaries to achieve goals. Commitment to social justice, Unitarian Universalists, historical concern for social issues like advocating for justice for Black people, feminists, and the LGBTQ community is deeply intertwined with our belief in democracy and the inherent worth of every individual. We actively engage in efforts to defend and expand democracy in society at large, such as through initiatives like UU to Vote, and at our church with our Black Lives Matter vigils, our food pantry, our Change for Change, along with other activities of our Justice Council. In essence, the democratic process is not just a method of governance for Unitarian Universalists. It is seen as a spiritual practice, a direct application of our core beliefs in plurality and the importance of conscience. As Shaie had indicated in her reflection, the American Revolution and the Declaration of Independence did not fully liberate all Americans, but it did create the possibility of a future liberation movement. In 1815, as America faced economic adjustments, rise in nationalism, and the issues of immigration and trade, including tariffs, the Unitarian Revolution gained traction. The period saw the pivotal publication of Jedediah Morse's pamphlet, American Unitarianism, which clarified the nascent Unitarian movement's identity and spurred its separation from Orthodox Congregationalism. This occurred before the formal establishment of the American Unitarian Association in 1825 and William Ellery Channing's Defining Unitarian Christianity sermon in 1819, making Morse's 1815 work a crucial catalyst for faith evolving towards even greater inclusion. Brothers and sisters, our heritage calls us to action. From the democratic roots of our Congregationalist forebears who forged the Cambridge Platform to the Enlightenment principles championed by Unitarian and Universalist founding fathers, and the ongoing struggle for liberation that marked our Unitarian Universalist revolution, democracy is at the very bedrock of our faith. We are not merely adherents to a system of governance, we are its guardians. For the democratic process is a spiritual practice, a direct embodiment of our core values and the liberating power of conscience. Therefore, let us rise to the occasion, to this occasion, today, as our ancestors have done. Engage deeply in the democratic life of our congregation, exercising our right to vote in annual meetings, serving on committees and our Board of Trustees, and contributing our voice to the shared ministry that defines us. Participate actively in the General Assembly, assuring our denominational voice remains a beacon of justice and equity. Beyond our walls, let us amplify our commitment to social justice by defending and expanding democracy in society at large. UU to vote is not just a slogan, it is a sacred call to action. Let us recall the spirit of 1815 when Jedediah Morse's pamphlet ignited a movement that demanded clarity and courage. Just as our faith evolved towards greater inclusion, so too must our engagement with democracy evolve, adapting to the challenges of our time while remaining steadfast in our principles. The possibility of a more perfect faith in a more inclusive America hinges on our unwavering commitment to the democratic process. Let us honor our legacy by actively maintaining and strengthening the democratic principles that has always defined us. Thank you.
Now is the time when we collect our offering of financial resources for the good of this community. We know there are many ways to give back to this congregation, and we encourage you to find a way that works for you. For giving of financial support, your money or checks put in the plate for today will be used to fund everyday operation of this congregation. Any pocket change or other money that you designate for change online or by putting them in the white envelopes in the pews will be sent to July and August's selected Change for Change organization, the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. I would like to invite Fern up to the pulpit to give us a little bit more information on that organization and the vital work that they do. And later, there will be a screen about how to give online, and anyone can use the mobile app, Vanco Mobile. And please know that if this is your first time with us, there is no expectation that you give anything other than a yellow contact form or letting us know how you found us and how we can support you. Fern?
Good morning, folks. That's a lot of text in tinier print, so I would like to read it to you as well. The Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, UUSC, is a non-sectarian organization advancing human rights and social justice in the United States and around the world. For more than 80 years, UUSC has engaged people of faith and conscience in responding to vital human rights crises across the world. UUSC's eye-to-eye partnership model, stressing that partnership model, is rooted in radical trust that pushes the institution to partner with grassroots organizations to assess, understand, and act on the issues facing the communities most impacted by oppression. These grassroots partnerships are instrumental in not only helping UUSC and its followers understand issues of injustice and oppression, but to center the voices, wisdom, experiences, expertise, and solutions of those who deal with oppression firsthand. Now, I don't know if, did you get that last little bit? Yep. There it is, okay. We build these relationships with a goal, following the leadership of the communities living at the forefront of some of the most pressing social justice issues of our time. When I first came to know about UUSC, it was that point of connecting and making eye-to-eye partnerships that was kind of new model. Mostly, you know, the do-gooders of us, we wanted to fix things and we would send our money to people that were going to take it and tell those people what to do to make it better. And this model is really a night and day from that old way of thinking, from that white supremacist, might we say, way of thinking. So I don't know if, do we have time later for the little video?
The video right now.
Okay, enjoy.
What's the difference between the UUA, the Unitarian Universalist Association, and UUSC, the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee? If you're watching this video, you probably know that Unitarian Universalism is a non-dogmatic faith. That means that Unitarian Universalists hold many different beliefs about the universe. They're united instead by a commitment to shared ethical principles like justice, equity, and interdependence, just to name a few. The Unitarian Universalist Association is UU's denominational body. Its primary role is to guide and support the programming and practices of UU congregations. The Unitarian Universalist Service Committee is an independent, international human rights organization. We partner with communities most impacted by oppression and work toward collective liberation. We do this primarily through legal advocacy and grant-making to grassroots partners. Sometimes the UUA raises money for humanitarian aid. Sometimes UUSC provides educational programming in congregations. This is where things can appear confusing. When the UUA runs a fundraiser for humanitarian aid, they distribute their support through congregational bodies. Their efforts are focused on serving Unitarian Universalists specifically, and typically campaigns respond to a crisis that impacts congregational function, like a natural disaster. When UUSC offers congregations educational programming or opportunities for advocacy, our focus is not on the congregations themselves. We work to cultivate UU's ability to make an impact on human rights issues. We invite them to support our work, which has an expansive international lens. In the words of Reverend Nancy MacDonald Ladd, the UUA grounds Unitarian Universalists, transforming and supporting their faith practice. UUSC equips Unitarian Universalists to live out their values by supporting our work to advance human rights. Learn more about UUSC's programming and opportunities to support the movement for collective liberation. Visit uusc.org.
And we thank you for the offering that you just gifted to us. We're going to hear a little bit of offertory
What's
music.
the difference between the UU
By Thomas Paine, who we claim is one of our own. It was called a kind of like fluff piece, but it's got a lot of meaning to it.
way? What's the what?
He just doesn't want to stop.
In a chariot of light from the regions of day, the goddess of liberty came. 10,000 celestials directed the way, and hither conducted the day. A fair budding branch from the gardens above, where millions with millions agree. She brought in her hand as a pledge of her love, and the plant she named Liberty Tree. Beneath this fair tree, like the patriarchs of old, their bread in contentment they ate, unvexed with the troubles of silver and gold, the cares of the grand and the great. With timber and tar they old England supplied, and supported her prow on the sea. Her battles they fought without getting a groat for the honor of Liberty Tree. But hear, O ye swains, 'tis a tale most profane, how all the tyrannical powers, kings, commons, and lords, are uniting amain to cut down this guardian of ours. From the east to the west, blow the trumpet to arms, through the land let the sound of it flee. Let the far and the near all unite with a cheer in defense of our Liberty Tree.
As we get ready to extinguish our chalice and end our time together this morning, please remember to stick around for announcements in the slides and downstairs during our lemonade and cookie hour. Folks on Zoom are invited to check in with each other afterwards. For more information on what's going on in the life of this congregation, you could check the weekly newsletter that comes out on Thursdays, or you can peruse the insert in your order of service. Finally, check out our website and social media pages for more important updates. The words to extinguish our chalice are by Reverend Dr. Nicole Kirk. Again, this is from her sermon at the closing worship service of General Assembly recently. Please read them along with me here in the sanctuary. Shaie will extinguish the chalice while I read the words. As we extinguish this flame, let its warmth remind us that freedom is never finished, and we are the ancestors who will be spoken of. May we carry this light into the world, continuing the work of justice, love, and freedom. Please rise in body or spirit to sing hymn number 108 in the gray hymnal, My Life Flows On, an Endless Story.
So our benediction today comes from a writing by the activist Whitney Elise, and she posted this right after the budget was passed. May today remind us of how much more we're going to need each other. May today's stunning failure of those elected to lead us push us to care more for ourselves. May it drive us to get involved. May it push us to volunteer. May it lead us to do more good. May it allow us to contribute to mutual aid. May it turn us to the needs of our own communities. May it empower us to lead. May it help us find our courage. May we find our humanity. May we, instead of turning away, turn towards one another. Thank you all for being with us today. I'm so happy to be back home. Thank you. Let us send each other out into the world in love. May it be so.
You can have all the money in your hands, all the possessions in.
You can move to this one too. They're going to raise the bar.
You can have all the money in your hands, all the possessions anyone can ever have, but it's all worth. This treasure, true worth, is only measured not by what you got, but what you got in your heart. You can have everything. What does it mean? It all means nothing if you don't stand up for something. You can't just talk the talk, you got to walk that walk. Yes, you do. It all means nothing if you don't stand up for something. And I stand up for you. And I stand up for you. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. You do the best that you can do. Then you can look in the mirror, proud of who's looking back at you. Define the life you're living, not by what you take, but what you're giving. And if you bet on love, there's no way you'll ever lose. Take a stand, make a stand for what's right. It's always worth the fight. It all means nothing if you don't stand up for something. You can't just talk the talk, you got to walk that walk. Yes, you do. It all means nothing if you don't stand up for something. And I stand up for you, self-respect, dignity. If that's all you got, then you got all you need. And without that, you don't have a thing. Oh, no, no.
Rise up, love, lift your hands. I stand with you cause I understand. Ain't here to judge, just to take a stand. The greater plans, the creator's plan. Let's all rise like the day began. Reach out and touch with the Savior's hand. On rock we stand like his native land. Let the ways of love be the ways of man.